Today, we're going to pop the hood on our cars, but maybe not in the way you're thinking. We're going to explore how artificial intelligence is basically becoming the ultimate mechanic, one that fine-tunes the actual fuel that's going to power our future. So just imagine this for a second. You pull up to a gas station and fill your car with some brand new, super clean fuel it's never even seen before. Now, instead of needing a trip to the shop for a massive overhaul, your car's engine just adapts instantly. It learns the new fuel's properties and optimizes itself for perfect performance right then and there. I mean, it sounds like science fiction, right? Well, you might be surprised how close we actually are. To really get why this whole instant learning thing for engines is such a huge deal, we kind of need to take a step back and look at the big picture. And that's our planet's massive thirst for fuel and the crazy high cost of quenching it.
Look, it's no secret that our world runs on fossil fuels, but depending on them comes with a huge price tag for both the planet and for our wallets. So yeah, we're always on the lookout for a better way.
And if you want to put a number on that price tag, just look at India. In one single year, from 2021 to 2022, the country spent $120 billion just on importing crude oil. That is a gigantic river of money flowing out of the economy, all to keep things running.
So, okay, if fossil fuels are so expensive and problematic, what's the alternative? Well, for years now, there's been a really promising solution gaining a ton of steam. Biofuels, a cleaner and much greener way to power our world.
One of the most promising ideas is something called ethanol blending, and the concept is actually pretty simple. You just mix regular gasoline with ethanol, which is a renewable fuel you can make from plants like corn or sugarcane. The result? A fuel that burns cleaner and is way more sustainable.
And the money side of it is just massive. By making a switch like this, a country like India could save an estimated $4 billion a year in foreign exchange. That's money that can get pumped right back into the economy. And this isn't just some pipe dream either. The plan is to more than double the amount of ethanol in fuel in just a few years, jumping from about 9.5% all the way up to 20%. That is a huge shift in a country's energy strategy. But, and you knew there was a but, right? There's a hidden challenge. And this brings us right to the engine's learning curve, this tricky, hidden problem that makes this seemingly simple solution, well, a lot more complex than it looks.
Okay, so here's the most important part. You can't just pour a new kind of fuel into an engine and expect it to just work. Different fuel blends change everything about how that engine is going to perform. We're talking its power, its efficiency, the whole shebang.
Think about it like this. Gasoline is kind of like a high-energy, fast-burning fuel. Ethanol, on the other hand, is a little more of a slow and steady burner. It even has a cooling effect inside the engine. Every single blend has its own personality, and the engine has to be tuned just right to get the most out of it. Now, the old way of figuring this out was just a slog. It was a slow, expensive grind of trial and error. We're talking thousands of hours of testing on this special machine called a dynamometer. It's basically a treadmill for engines. It was a huge bottleneck, slowing everything down. But what if you didn't need thousands of hours? What if you had an AI mechanic? A little digital co-pilot living right inside your engine's computer. At the heart of this AI mechanic is an amazing tool called an artificial neural network. It can think of it like a digital brain that can learn from experience, pretty much like we do. But instead of using wrenches and screwdrivers, it uses data to figure out all these super complex patterns. So how does this AI mechanic actually learn its job? Well, it's basically a four-step process. First, scientists feed it a ton of data from a real engine running on all these different fuel blends. Second, the AI crunches all that data, and it learns the complicated dance between engine speed, temperature, and pressure. Third, it gets so good that it can predict how the engine will perform with a fuel it's never even seen before. And finally, it uses that incredible predictive power to instantly figure out the absolute perfect settings for the engine. Okay, so that all sounds great in theory, but how does our AI mechanic actually do in the real world? Let's put it to the test and see how its predictions stack up against cold, hard reality. And here it is. This graph, this is where the magic happens. Those solid lines you see, that's the actual performance of a real engine tested with different fuels. And the dashed lines, those are the AI's predictions. I mean, just look at how they line up. It's almost perfect. It's an absolutely stunning display of predictive power. And we are not talking about a lucky guess here. The research showed that the AI's predictions were over 98% accurate. It didn't just copy the data it saw, it actually understood the complex physics of how the engine works.
So what does that 98% accuracy really mean in the real world?
How about this? A massive 75% reduction in the need for all that expensive, time-sucking physical testing we talked about. This is a complete game changer for getting cleaner fuels developed and on the road way, way faster.
So with this incredibly powerful new tool in our toolkit, what does the future of fuel actually look like? Let's take a look at how this AI mechanic could help us speed up our journey to a cleaner, more sustainable planet.
Now, let's be real. It's not a perfect silver bullet just yet. The researchers are really honest about the hurdles. Things like sensor noise from a car driving on a bumpy road could throw off the accuracy. And sudden, hard acceleration is way trickier for the AI to predict than just steady cruising. And we still need to study how these new fuels hold up over the long haul.
But hey, these are engineering challenges, and that's what engineers are great at solving. It just leaves us with this incredible, tantalizing glimpse of the future, a world where every single engine has its own AI co-pilot, constantly learning, constantly adapting, and constantly optimizing itself for a cleaner, greener planet. The AI mechanic is here, and it is ready to get to work.